Buddy, G-Bear, Homesteading the Desert, Christmas Day, 2017. It's a beautiful day out. I'm working on my tan. It is probably close to 70 degrees out here. No wind whatsoever. Sun shining bright, as you can see. And I'm not going to turn around or I'll get blinded. I want to show you some of the little things I was doing today. Keeping busy, and I got out my tools here and I started making my trolleys. This is one that I'll be finishing up later, and I'll tell you why. Right up here on my clothesline, I did a load of laundry, not really a whole load, just some of the stuff I've been wearing. I wanted to get all the dirt and dust off of them. Whites came out whiter, so forth and so on. But yeah, everything's nice and clean. And I hung it all out on the line to dry here. That's my clothes dryer. It doesn't require any propane. But this is a trolley right here. And what this does is it keeps the lines together here. Now, if I take this off of here, you'll see there's a big gap between the wires there. And the bottom one sags way down low. Well, that's what these things are for. You put one of these like this, bring it up there, set it on the unit. It keeps the clothesline closer together and it doesn't sag as much. And that keeps it from stretching out also. Now, I need two of those because I'll probably fill this line when I'm doing things like sheets and bedspreads and so forth and so on, along with the rest of my laundry. And down the line, I will be making a wash machine, and I think you'll find that pretty interesting. It's going to be made out of a plastic barrel, and I'll be able to do a full load of laundry in that thing, and the water will be all captured and used for irrigation. So I wanted to show you that, and we'll come over here to this one, and I'll show you some of the things that I did. First of all, I needed to make a couple of little pulleys. So I got out my hole saws here, and I used this one right here to drill a hole through a piece of maple. This is my maple right here. And I had this little piece, this was added onto it. It was about that long, and the other piece is up there on the clothesline. But you drill out two little wheels, and you notice there's a little burr in the center here. That's because you don't just drill all the way through in one shot. You have to drill until just the tip of the drill bit comes through, then flip the board over and drill from the other side, and that'll keep you from getting this thing stuck up inside the hole saw. And it'll also give you a better smooth cut. Now that little burr will come off with a razor knife, piece of sandpaper, whatever. Okay, so next thing I had to do was I had to make a little valley in here to ride on the rope. So I got myself a 1/4 20 bolt, and I just happened to have that brass 1/4 20 nut laying around, and I put it together. And to make it faster, I just held the nut with a pair of channel locks and shot the screw down with my screw gun, my battery-powered screw gun. Okay, so then what I did was I mounted this up into the chuck, and I speeded up the drill press by changing the ratio up here so that it was spinning pretty quickly. And then I got out my rat tail file here, and I just held it against the unit and worked it back and forth and rotated it and worked it back and forth until I cut a valley in the middle. I'm not totally happy with the depth of the valley. I probably will wait until I set up my wood lathe, and I'll mount these onto the wood lathe and I'll cut a deeper valley in there. But for right now, it's working just fine. So this will all go together later. This area right here that you see with all the checkers in it, all of that gets cut out. Okay, so that you have a full channel in here. And then I've got it marked here. That's where the centers of the pulleys or the wheels will go. And you drill through, what I did was I drilled through first with a a smaller bit than necessary, so that the other side of this was smaller than the 1/4 bolt that I was going to put through, because I wanted to be able to thread it or tap it right into the wood. And you won't be able to do that with pine. You've got to use a good solid wood like maple or oak or something like that. I just happen to have maple, so that's what I use. Anyway, I put the first drill through with the smaller bit, and then just halfway through this section right here, I put a larger 1/4 hole, so that the bolt slides in, or the screw slides in, and then I just tapped it into the wood. I didn't have to use a tap and die set or anything like that. Just applying a little pressure to it with the screw gun, and it just screwed right into the wood. And that'll keep it nice and solid. I can take you over here and show you the other one. You see how it's popped out this side? That's where it threaded into the wood. And on this side, it has the head of the screw, so it I can tell if it comes loose, because the other side of the threads will miss, or this the head will move away from there. Anyway, as you notice, I can move the line with that on there, so that makes it good. As you notice, it just jumped out of the pulley because it doesn't have enough depth in there. That's why I said I wasn't happy with it. I'll make it deeper later on, but right now it suffices. And that takes care of that. So if you want the measurements to this, let me know, and I'll send those on. I don't know how many people are using clotheslines nowadays. That's why I couldn't find any of these in the store. But when I was a little kid growing up, Mom had those on the clothesline out back. Then I took a clear bucket here, and I put all my clothespins in there. And the trolleys will sit inside of here when they're not in use. And then on the plastic handle here, I mounted some clothespins so they're easy to get to as I'm putting clothes on the line. And what I'll do is I just stand right here on the corner of the porch, put my clothes on the line, and then push the line out. And they dry up in no time out here because it's nice dry climate. All right, I wanted to show you that part. Next thing, I forgot to mention yesterday when I was pouring concrete. Here's a little tip for those of you who are mixing concrete out in the wild. You probably know that mixing concrete is not an easy task. So you add the water to the concrete, and then you got to mix and mix and mix. I use the cement mixer, but still, it takes a while for the water to mix in with the dry aggregate, and that is a time-consuming process. What you see here is some dish soap. I put about a teaspoon of dish soap per bag in with the water, and you just hear the stuff just smooth out. It just slides through the mixer, and it doesn't hurt the concrete when you're doing little slabs like I'm doing. If you're doing structural and you're building a house with solid concrete walls, I wouldn't add anything, any additives to it. I just follow the instructions and mix it per what it tells you to, because this one here is a 4,000 pound mix, or 4,000 psi mix, and I really don't need concrete that strong. It just happens that that's what I buy at Home Depot at 60 pounds, and it dries pretty quickly. It works really nice. But remember that little soap trick. The thing that's about soap and making things move faster, soap makes water wetter. That's the simplest scientific description I can give you. And if you add a little bit of soap to the water gets wetter, and whatever you're mixing together just slides together quickly. All right, I started grading the inside here, getting ready to put floor joists in when I am ready, and strung my string up over there for the bathroom, and I started backfilling some of the pipe that don't have to be exposed. The reason I left the toilet one open is I may have to shift that a 1/4 inch one side or the other to make sure I've got my 12 inches from the finished wall. And that's what the toilet mounts at. And the same thing with the shower here. I won't know exactly where that shower drain's got to go until I bring the fiberglass shower into place and set it on the floor, and then I'll swivel that as I need to, add a pipe onto it as I need to move forward or back, and then I'll have my adjustments just right. This down here isn't glued yet because I want to make sure I've got at least a 1/4 inch per foot drop going out of here. That way nothing sits in the pipe, even though I don't need to have it flushed out. It'll be just the water, the gray water that goes through there. All right, let's move on. Come over to the slab I poured yesterday. Hey, look, we're starting to whiten up on the top of it already. I pulled the form this morning. It's leaning up there. I'm not going to throw that away. I may use it again. But this is where my second set of solar panels like this are going to go. And I've got another stand just like that one sitting down in the Tustin home. I'll be bringing that up real soon here. It'll mount right there. And then the wires will go right into my electric room, which is right on the other side of that wall. And I'll tie that in with my other batteries. 24 golf cart batteries is going to give me plenty of electricity because we've had some overcast mornings here. And the days are short. This is the shortest time of the year. But my batteries have been staying at full charge even through the night. I watch TV, leave lights on. The greatest part is I don't get an electric bill. So just wanted to cover that with you. And let's see if there's anything. Oh yeah. The reason I'm doing this early right now is because I got my smoker put back together again. The wind damage wasn't that bad. I used my big rolling magnet over there, the magnetic pickup, and I picked up and found all of the screws and nuts and washers that fell off. So I didn't have to put anything new in. And over here you see these black lines. That's actually black sand or magnetite. That stuff is everywhere out here. If you are working with a magnetic tip on your screw gun and you touch it into the dirt, you got to pull the tip out of the screw gun and clean it because you can't get it into a screw. It just picks up a lot of black sand. Now that stuff is actually good for purifying water, and I'll go into that in another video. But right now I'm getting my smoker ready here because I'm going to have a Christmas ham today. I've got it sitting inside that cooler where I've been charging my batteries and getting ready for the work week. I want to make sure all my batteries are up to par. And this old pan, I've had this around for years. I use it as a catch pan for drippings. And I line it with foil. And you can see the foil is sitting here waiting. And I'm going to show you a neat little trick that I learned. And that is when I want to line the inside of that pan with foil, the first thing I'm going to do is lay the foil on the outside of the pan like this. Try to get it as centered as possible. And then I'm going to mold it around the pan. This is easier with two hands than one, but I think I'll get through it here. Okay, now once you got it molded around the pan like that, now you can turn you see the foil there, you turn the pan over and you drop that in, and it gives you the start for your walls. See how easy that was? Now I can tuck it in all the way around and fold it over the edges, and I'll catch all my drippings in there with a nice clean surface. Later on, after I use my drippings, I throw the foil away, and nothing to worry about. It's an easy, clean pan. So that's my drip pan. Down inside the smoker here, another little tip. Now let me get rid of that grill over there. All right, you see my charcoal. It's just around the outside here. This is a long-term low heat cook because the hams are actually already smoked and cooked, but we want to heat it up and we want to add a little bit more flavor to it. Now I'm going to be using mesquite, which is this piece right here. And you see I got one there and one here, and a couple more over here, and then a couple at the end. Okay, now what those are going to do, I'm going to light this little cluster of charcoal. That's just regular charcoal briquettes. I'm going to light that little cluster right there only. And then I'm going to put the ham in here and get everything all set up. And as soon as those briquettes in that little cluster start turning white, then I put the cover on the smoker. And I can adjust the airflow by opening up this little door right here. And what that'll do is it's going to let these charcoals start burning along a line here, instead of everything lighting at one time and getting too hot in here, drying out my ham. I don't want to do that. Oop, there goes my foil. So anyway, this will put a slow, steady heat as this keeps continuing. It's going to just keep adding one charcoal to the next. And you see every now and then I got a little cluster there. That's because sometimes it cools down so much it doesn't have enough heat to keep going on. Well, I put 3 briquettes there instead of just a single line. And if you want to bring the heat up for a different type of cooking and you want to do it for a long period like this, because this is going to go in here in probably 20 minutes, and it'll be for dinner later on at 6:30, and it's only like 1 o'clock right now. But anyway, what that's going to do is it's going to cook around, and if you want it hotter, you just double that up and then add another one on top, make it a triple, like a little pyramid all the way around. And then if you're not using a smoker, you don't have to add any of the smoker wood in there. So that's a neat little trick, and this is going to sit down right here in the middle, and the ham will sit right up on top over it with the foil in there, and my drippings will go into there, so I won't get any flashes or anything like that on the charcoal. All right, that's your tip of the day, and that's about it. I've been working on my tan this morning and getting some little tidbits of chores done here and drinking plenty of water. It's a beautiful day out, near 70, and I'm just starting to pick up a light breeze. As you can see, the clothes moving on the line there, but it's warm and the sky is nice and clear, and I'm generating electricity. G Bear signing off.